Wgel CTF walkthrough. Room information. Item value. Platform TryHackMe. Room Wgel CTF. Difficulty easy. Target OS Linux. Target IP 10.130.167.182. Status white heavy checkmark completed. Executive summary. Wgel CTF is a beginner-friendly Linux penetration testing room that demonstrates how seemingly minor security misconfigurations can be chained together to achieve complete system compromise. The engagement began with standard network reconnaissance, identifying SSH and HTTP services exposed to the network. Web enumeration revealed a hidden Nmap directory which, upon further inspection, exposed an openly accessible .ssh directory containing a private SSH key. An HTML comment on the default Apache web page disclosed the username Jesse, allowing successful SSH authentication using the recovered private key. Post-exploitation enumeration identified an overly permissive Sudo configuration that allowed execution of /usr/bin/wget as root without a password. Leveraging the GTFO-bins technique, the root flag was exfiltrated through an HTTP post request to an attacker-controlled listener, resulting in full system compromise. This room reinforces the importance of secure web server configuration, protection of authentication material, and adherence to the principle of least privilege. Assessment objectives. Perform network reconnaissance. Enumerate web resources. Identify exposed sensitive information. Obtain initial system access. Perform local privilege escalation. Capture the user and root flags. Document the engagement professionally. Methodology. The assessment followed a structured penetration testing methodology. Reconnaissance. Service enumeration. Web enumeration. Information disclosure analysis. Credential discovery. Initial access. Local enumeration. Privilege escalation. Flag collection. Step 1. Network reconnaissance. An initial map scan was conducted against the target to identify exposed services. Open services. Port service version. 22 SSH Open SSH 7.2 P2. 80 HTTP Apache February 4, 18. The web server presented the default Apache landing page, suggesting additional content might exist but was not immediately linked. Evidence. Screenshots. 01 Initial mapscan.png 14 Default apachepage.png. Step 2 Web enumeration. Directory brute forcing was performed against the web server using Gobuster. The scan revealed an additional directory. Browsing this directory exposed a complete website distinct from the default Apache page. A second Gobuster scan targeting Ctmap identified several directories, including an exposed .ssh directory. Evidence. Screenshots. 02 gobustersalts.png 03 sitehomophonepage.png 04 gobustersitmap.png 05 directorialisting.png. Step 3 Sensitive information disclosure. The exposed.ssh directory allowed direct access to an RSA private key. The key was downloaded from the web server for later use. While reviewing the source code of the default Apache landing page, an HTML comment revealed. Although minor, this information disclosed the likely SSH username required to authenticate with the recovered private key. Evidence. Screenshots. 06 files discovered.png 07 private key downloaded.png 08 username discovered.png. Step 4 Initial access. The downloaded private key permissions were corrected before authentication. SSH authentication was then performed. Authentication succeeded immediately, providing shell access as the user Jesse. Verification commands confirmed the session. Evidence. Screenshot. 09 initial access.png, step 5 user flag. Enumeration of the user's home directory revealed the user flag located within the documents directory. The flag was successfully retrieved. Evidence. Screenshot. 10 userflag.png, step 6 local enumeration. Privilege escalation enumeration began by reviewing the user's sudo permissions. The output showed that the user could execute This represented a significant privilege escalation opportunity because Wget can transmit arbitrary file contents over HTTP. Evidence. Screenshot. 11 sudo permissions.png, Step 7. Privilege escalation. A netcat listener was started on the attacking machine. The permitted Wget binary was then abused to send the contents of the root flag via an HTTP post request. The netcat listener received the HTTP request containing the contents of the root flag. This demonstrated successful privilege escalation without exploiting any software vulnerability. Evidence. Screenshots. 12 root flag exfiltration.png, 13 root flag receives.png. Attack path. Findings. Finding 1, exposed SSH private key. Severity, high. A publicly accessible .ssh directory exposed a valid SSH private key. Security impact. Anyone with access to the web server could retrieve authentication material capable of granting remote shell access. Finding 2, username disclosure. Severity, low. A developer HTML comment disclosed a valid username. Security impact. While minor in isolation, this significantly reduced the effort required to authenticate using the recovered SSH key. Finding 3, overly permissive sudo configuration. Severity, critical. The user could execute /usr/bin/wget as root without authentication. Security impact. This allowed privileged file disclosure and complete system compromise through a documented GTFO-bins technique. MITRE ATT and CK mapping. Technique description. T1595 active scanning. T1083 file and directory discovery. T1552 unsecured credentials. T1021.004 SSH. T1548 abuse elevation control mechanism. Blue team perspective. Several individually minor weaknesses combined to produce a complete compromise. Defensive improvements include: disabled directory indexing. Never expose SSH material through web directories. Remove developer comments before deployment. Audit web server content regularly. Restrict sudo privileges using least privilege. Monitor execution of privileged binaries such as Wget. Conduct routine configuration reviews. Lessons learned. Enumeration remains the most valuable phase of a penetration test. Hidden directories frequently contain sensitive information. Information leakage through comments can enable authentication attacks. SSH keys must never be publicly accessible. Misconfigured sudo permissions can be more dangerous than software vulnerabilities. Understanding GTFO-bins techniques is essential for Linux privilege escalation. Small configuration errors can be chained into complete system compromise. Flags collected. User flag. Root flag. Conclusion. Wgel CTF demonstrates how an attacker can combine multiple low-severity configuration weaknesses into a complete compromise. No software vulnerabilities were exploited during the engagement. Instead, success relied on careful enumeration, analysis of publicly exposed resources, responsible handling of recovered credentials, and identification of an insecure sudo configuration. The room provides an excellent introduction to Linux privilege escalation, secure web server configuration, and the importance of disciplined penetration testing methodology. It reinforces a key lesson in offensive security. Comprehensive enumeration often uncovers the most effective attack paths, while robust system hardening and least privilege principles remain critical defensive controls.